Okay, you said you were calling the meeting to order and it's 5:01.
Yep. So let's call this to order. Can you put up the agenda, please,
Yes.
Linda? All right. So on the screen, hopefully you can see the agenda.
Yep.
So we've already started the meeting and started the recording and the transcription. Approval of the agenda is the first item on the list. Then meeting minutes from the last meeting, general updates, some of the partner discussions, which if anybody from the sort of public at large shows up, we might need to somehow figure out how to go into executive, I guess kick them out of the room for a short period of time. OCCUD and VCBB updates, status of the grants, our financials, the annual budget, and see if there's any other business. Set the next meeting date and time, and adjourn. It's a big list today. So, any discussion before we get a motion about the agenda? Questions, comments, concerns? All right, I would definitely entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for the.
I'll second that
Chris.
motion.
Thank you, Tim. Any further discussion or questions, comments? All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda for tonight's meeting, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Looks like the ayes have it. The agenda is approved. All right. The next item on the list is the previous meeting minutes that so could you shoot them up on the screen, Amanda, please? Just
Yes, I am. Hold on. Andrew is waiting to get in. And hold on. Meeting 10:12. You should be seeing them.
yeah, okay. Do we need any discussion of the previous meeting minutes? If not, can we get a motion to approve them or modify them?
I make a motion that we approve the prior meeting minutes as read here.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
And Andrew Quint will second it.
Thanks, Andrew. So anybody need any discussions, comments, questions? Can you keep the minutes up there, please, Amanda? Anybody need any questions, comments, amendments, deletions from this?
Yeah, Tony, our minutes should have a name at the bottom of who actually did the minutes, respectfully submitted by
Okay,
in the future.
Okay, I can
Okay.
add that for the next one.
thanks for keeping us in the fairway, Larry. Much appreciated. So Jessica, can you take just a note of that? Obviously, I think you already have, so. All right, any other questions or changes? I think we can, I guess we can't add it right now because the motion was to approve the minutes as
Presented.
presented. So, okay. Okay, any All those in favor of approval of the previous meeting minutes for the September meeting, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, looks like the ayes have it. The previous meeting minutes are approved. Let's see, general updates. I don't have too many general updates. There's just a couple of things in there. I think they're better discussed. Like, there's an update on the 360 grant. There's some partner discussion updates that I think we probably need to be in executive session for. So I don't know if anybody else has any other general updates for the executive committee, but I'll open the floor up. Amanda, is there anything you can think of that isn't covered by the other bits and bobs?
Not at this time, no.
All right. All right, nobody has anything. I think we should go into executive session, which I believe, I guess a couple things. I believe we need a motion for that.
I will make a motion that we go into executive session for partner discussions by Chris Custer. Hubbard.
And Andrew Quint Chittenden seconds.
Second. Now,
You
since
have to state
Mike
the
has been,
time.
oh, and okay, so the time right now, I guess, is what?
5:08.
5:00. Is that right? Yeah, 5:08 p.m.
All right, I'm pausing
so-
the recording.
Okay.
And this one. I have to stop sharing. And
Okay, so we have left executive session. The time now is 5:30 p.m.
Yep.
All right. So next item on the agenda is OCCUD. So Larry, any updates for us on that front?
Program coordinator Rob Bitsky had sent me an email. He's doing a kind of a traveling thing, and it was set up anyways by him for September 30th, late morning, to go over any issues that we have. Prior to that meeting, I called Tony to see what, he might want to add to it, any questions he had, concerns. And long story short, Rob Bitsky never called me, so that did not sit well with me, so. So I don't know if he's going to try it again, but he's still doing his tour. We'll see how that goes. On OCCUD, we met October 4th. There was discussion on the 120 versus 25.3 ARPA funding. VCBB, which is always part of that meeting. We talked about the middle mile backbone, definition of underserved. There's another $100 million is going to be released once the middle mile maps are out. Rob Vitsky, our program coordinator, is collecting, for his tour that he's collecting issues from CUDs, and he's going to compile those. One of them, the issues is we need support or representation in the legislature. So we're looking for volunteers that wanted to work on that one. And we had a discussion on EAB, which is equal access to broadband. And Holly Groschner, who's the board chair, did the presentation. We're talking about the CUDs and a collaboration for inclusion. Affordable broadband is an access issue in the ACP, which is Affordable Connecting Program, reimburses ISPs that provide service to qualified households. The EAB was created to help CUDs connect customers with low incomes. So that's kind of a big thing. EABs, they're eventually going to be looking for $25,000 a year for planning support from each CUD until the service starts. And then after that, they would like to get $50,000 a year. Yeah, that would be a flat rate ongoing. So that hasn't happened yet, but that's what they were looking, and that's a whole affordability issue. They're
So,
working-
Larry, I don't think, sorry,
yeah,
mind
go
if I
ahead,
ask a
Tony.
question? I don't think I understand that. Is that like is that like a fund that they're trying to set up to help low income folks get
Yes,
access, or?
it is. Yeah,
Okay, so I guess it would be not to build the network, but to pay for their service?
it would be to, the funds would be used for low incomes that can't afford whatever the monthly fees are. It's almost like I would call it a subsidy.
Right, okay.
So
Because there already is a $30 federal subsidy for folks who are on below certain income levels or on certain types of assistance. But anyway, okay.
I think there's a
I
state
think I
one
understand that.
too. So I can do some research and see if they have info they can provide us. Like what makes them different than the state and
guess what
federal
I'm-
programs.
I guess what I'm worried about is, to me, that seems like it almost seems like a tax, right?
Yeah.
And so is that, should we really, the CUD, be funding something like that?
Yeah, at this point, they didn't use the word optional at all. It's just kind of a wish list of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to set up.
Okay,
This probably won't hear any more of this until sometime next year.
okay.
All right, and then continuing, they're working on the budget, which we'll be voting on in November. They're basing on our premises 0.45 cents. That could put our annual dues, OCCUD dues from our CUD at $10,597. That's preliminary. That's still being worked on.
We're gonna have to have a discussion about whether we think that's a fair
Exactly, yeah. We've had a
price
discussion on-
for our membership, because we're really not taking very many of the we're not getting many of the benefits, like the procurement agreements and things like that they've signed. So
Yeah, and Tony and I, in our phone discussion, talked about maybe an associate membership, because exactly as Tony said, what we're doing in Southern Vermont CUD is very different than the CUDs, the other 7 CUDs in the state.
Yeah.
Starting from scratch and building out, they're working together and switching material, different policies to help out. We're really going a different route. And so as far as, the purchasing of the fiber optic cable hardware and the cabinets, they're all doing that and buying it together. Whereas, with a supply chain issue, if each individual CUD in Vermont went out and tried to buy cable themselves, it just wouldn't happen. By them all working together and consolidating their purchases, they're able to buy numerous miles at a time. So, but in our case, if we end up going with an ISP, they're going to provide, I would say, all the materials. So we're not using that service from OCCUD. So the question is, should we be paying a full amount of dues compared to the other CUDs that are using more of OCCUD services? In Southern Vermont would be in the same situation as we are. So that's part of the discussion, next time you contact them, that could be brought up too, is whether, how we're going to continue with this. And that was something I was going to bring up with Rob Bitsky, but again, he never called, and I can't really bring it up in a OCCUD meeting. Yeah, I think that's it. We have 3 meetings in November. It's going to be an election of officers, looking for a new chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. We'll see who steps forward.
Okay. All right. On to VCBB. I don't think there's any big VCBB updates. Well, I don't know. Had the Southern Vermont agreement with CCI been approved at our last executive session?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it had, right?
Yeah.
So we don't that's done. We've had some. The VCBB set up a discussion with the USDA, Department of Agriculture, to talk about some of the grants that they have in place. Some of those grants, there were 2 of those grants that sounded like we might be able to qualify, or parts of our CUD might be able to qualify. We have brought that discussion. Well, we've had further discussions one-on-one with the USDA about our situation, to make sure that we understood each other and that our understanding of the grants was correct. We also, on follow-up with that, we also made sure CCI was aware of the grant money, and what might be available, and what we originally were thinking was the 4 Otelco towns, or those 4 areas, might be ripe for some of that USDA money. CCI didn't think they would be in a position to.
Tony.
Yeah.
We did speak with someone about the grant application. We could probably go into executive session if you wanted to discuss in depth more of that application, if you wanted.
Yeah,
but otherwise,
I mean,
safe to say.
It's just to know that there's another pot of money out there that we probably might be able to get access to help support our efforts with getting the network built. I don't know if there's anything else, Amanda, that I'm missing, or.
No, we evaluated a couple different grant options. One would be easy in terms of it allowing us to apply over a larger geography. However, we would need things like an audit, which we haven't done yet, and eventually should discuss that. And also the grant application deadline is like in 2 weeks, and it's a huge application. So there's a lot that would go into that. And we honestly just don't qualify right now. It might maybe be again offered in the spring, but we need to see what happens at the federal congressional level. So we'll see about that one. And then there was another one that will definitely be available later this year that we will be able to apply for. It just will be more restrictive in terms of geography, but that about summed up the research and conversations.
Yeah. Any questions about that stuff? Okay. Grant status. I think this is probably the Amanda show.
Yeah, it's also not super exciting.
You know more of it than I do.
We do still have the extension for H315, so we'll finish using that funding by the end of the year. And we're awarded the funding through H360, and the contract for that was recently signed. So Jackie might be seeing some of that come through. I don't know if it's paper or electronic, but the contract's been signed. I think it was signed last week finally. So it's nice to know that those funds are promised and can thus be planned for in terms of the annual budget coming up.
And it was approved through the SAM.gov system, right?
Well, it's separate. Sam has been, Jackie's been amazing working through that with you, Tony, to get the documents updated. And we needed that so we could show the VCBB that the profile is officially like public for whatever reason. Something on the other side, what someone else would see that wasn't showing public. So we had to go through and do some reassigning of administrators. So it's just some technical difficulties that have been righted mostly, so we're just about there, but it did not inhibit the awarding of the grant. Thankfully,
Yeah.
we're able to show that we were working through it with sam.gov, so we're good.
Okay.
We can't hear you, Jackie. I think the mic's covered.
So the SAM, it's been updated. I'm just waiting for SAM to finish doing whatever they need to do.
It's
So
Sam
hopefully
thing.
within a few days, we'll get it back and everything will be active again.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jacqueline, for everything.
And then the money can
Yeah.
get deposited, right?
Yeah. If it was only that easy.
Okay. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns about the grant stuff? Okay. Financials. I guess this is now the Jackie show.
Okay, with my wonderful microphone. Just the usual invoices. The Google Workspace and Telecom. And then we have Seward and Associates for bookkeeping and Amanda for project management. So total is $4,157.03 for the month of September, which is hard to believe it's over.
Do we need a motion for approval on payment of this?
Yes, please.
Okay, I make a motion that we can pay this invoice as it's proposed.
Any seconds?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Okay, so any discussion or comments or questions about any of this before we call for a vote? Okay. Not hearing any discussion needed. All those in favor of approving the warrant in the amount of $4,157.03 signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The warrant is approved. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. So there was so for the annual budget, I guess I'm not sure. I'll ask Amanda for the annual budget. Is that where we want to talk about the balance sheet and other financials that were attached, or are we supposed to talk about them here?
So I attached
Or-
financials because just thought it was common practice, but that's stuff that you as an executive committee get to see. And
there
it's
any-
also good to know I did ask for them for a year-to-date report to help with some of the discussion as well.
Okay.
So we can share
Jackie,
that.
is there any?
Go ahead.
Are there any highlights in there that you think we need to know, or? I took a glance at them. I didn't think there was any. You're muted or something. Nope, not working. Nope, still not working.
I didn't really see, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I have too much stuff on my desk. It's the problem, I think. I didn't really see anything that that looks out of the usual, so.
Okay.
I'll look at it some more too. I'm in the
Okay.
middle of getting
Any-
ready for an audit as well, so.
Yeah.
Piles on my
Anybody-
desk are just getting
I think
deeper.
everybody, yeah, I think everybody, thanks, Jackie. I think everybody had the opportunity to look at them beforehand. If anybody has questions, and well, maybe we can ask Jackie and Amanda. All right, annual budget. Item number 10.
So this is legislative requirement, and I can send you links to that if it helps to review it. But this starts the process to have you approve it basically as a saying this looks okay as things stand. Then we send it out to all the reps and legislative boards of the member towns, see if anyone has any feedback or review. We then provide an opportunity for anyone to comment specifically on this at the next board meeting. And then at that meeting, but no later than December 15th, there needs to be the official vote to approve this proposed
The
budget.
annual budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's not quite as hard as with other CUDs that are looking at construction. So it's pretty high level and very open. You
And
have
I
a lot
think
of
I think mostly the H360 application probably has all the information we need for the next year's budget.
I try to include background as to why some numbers were used in the document, and that did come from the H360 application.
Okay. So is there anything we need to, is there anything we need to approve at this point, Amanda, or do we just need to kick off this process? Is there like, do we need a motion to do something?
I believe I need you to vote. I'm looking at the specific language so I get this correct. There it is. So you as the executive committee need to approve this and give permission for it to be distributed to every CUD rep.
When you
and
say
their
this,
legislative body. The annual
when you-
report to include of activities, the financial statement and the proposed budget. So it
okay.
should be that Word document plus the financial statement. Which is
Yeah,
a
can you
PDF.
could you maybe put it up on the screen just so we make sure we all understand what we're voting on? Because
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm flipping back and forth between things. So this was a high level summary that you received. This is 3 pages. Okay, just enable editing so I can. And one more time. Let me zoom in case anyone actually wants to attempt to read. So this is the background information. So this is the 2nd page. Hopefully you received this document. It'll be a lot easier for you to look at on your own computers rather than watching me scroll. So a lot of assumptions made in here. This is also, again, exactly what was submitted to the state to make sure you're covered in the event of anything, in the event you want to continue paying for hosting fees for the website, or you need to go out to bid for another project manager or full-time manager, or maybe you join with another CUD to have a shared manager because you have such similar operating styles. There's a lot of variables for that. In order to offer a living wage, you have what are the estimated pay scale hourly rates for that service. And hopefully there's a lot that you don't need there, but you need to have it in the event that you find someone you want to work with, and that's what they are asking. Legal services, again, we took estimates from what had historically been paid, or what they had offered as an estimate for certain services. It's hard to guess. It could be a lot less. Hopefully it's not more. So we erred on the side of caution. The accountant fees were pretty easy because it's a flat fee, and you're looking at 12 to 18 months out.
Okay, so hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look and make sure that if they have any big questions, we can start asking it. But I guess we need a motion to approve this and approve its sharing with the reps that's for the reps from each of the
To
18
cause
towns.
to be distributed to regional representative or legislative bodies, yeah.
Before we do the motion, I just noted what I think is a typo there. Under
Oh.
website, it says 1,200 a month. That was in the little box.
In the box,
Yeah, it's total 1,200 and then one says
A year.
1,200 a month.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's an annual fee.
Yep, easy fix.
Okay, thanks.
Make sure the accounting is 12 months and not 18 months. Real quick. Okay, yeah, that's the 12-month amount, so that should be fine.
Okay. So I guess just to make sure I understand and we get this right, we need a motion to distribute this document to and solicit feedback, right?
Correct.
From our member towns.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will make a motion, Chris Custer of Hubbardton, that we accept this proposed budget for the purpose of distribution to member towns.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Any seconds, any comments, concerns, questions?
Yeah, I had a question. This is approved by the executive committee and not the full board.
I would say yes, it gets approved by the executive committee,
Okay,
Correct.
but
It-
I
it
would say
just-
that the whole board can have some input on it, but it's the executive committee that would vote on it.
That makes sense, Larry. Any,
yeah, I didn't know. I was just
yeah,
checking.
just making sure. All right.
I'm gonna send a link.
John, any comments, questions?
No, I'm happy to go ahead with it.
Okay. So
So,
we have a motion on the table by Chris that we approve the budget and distribute it for feedback to our member towns. Do we have a second or?
Second, Larry.
Okay, all right. Okay, any discussion, comments, questions, concerns? Okay, don't hear any comments, questions, or concerns. The motion on the table is to approve this document, the annual budget of the 2022 annual summary and proposed budget for distribution to our member towns and the reps therein, and solicit feedback. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? No. All right, the ayes have it. The annual budget document's approved and it's approved for being distributed and asking for feedback. So I guess we need to gin up a letter or something, a transmittal, right, Amanda? So that
Yeah.
the town select boards know what it is that we're sending them.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other business? Item number 11, anything, any pressing issues that we haven't discussed or people have questions about or? All right, hearing none, I guess we can move to the next meeting. Next meeting, if we follow our normal schedule, would be, let's see, November 9th, is that right?
Yep.
So November 9th at 9 p.m. Any,
November
Any
9th at 5
concerns?
p.m.
oh, sorry, at 5 p.m., yeah. Any questions or comments, concerns about that? It's just following a normal.
I can
order
do
of
it by
business.
phone. I've got a Castleton University senior social that night from 6 to 7:30, but I'll have my phone with me, so I can start at 5.
Okay, thanks, Larry. Okay, and I think I can entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? Hey, all those in favor of adjourning or the October meeting of the Otter Creek CUD, signify by saying aye, please.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. The meeting's adjourned at, ooh,
Thank
look
you.
at that, 6 o'clock on the dot.
Okay.
All right, Amanda, I guess you can stop the recording
Yeah.
and stuff.